Welcome to today's episode of the Young Pro Show, where we bring you powerful conversations from incredible human beings from all over the world. Today on the show, we have a duo. We got Luke Hessler and Jaime. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us, brother.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Glad to have you guys here. So Luke and Jaime are both entrepreneurs, speakers, professional coaches, and the founders of an international adventure club called Wotabu. Where they inspire people all around the world to live a life worth talking about. Sounds pretty badass. But why don't you guys just start off by telling us your story as entrepreneurs? Like, where did the journey begin for you guys?
Absolutely. I'll let Jaime start it off.
For sure. Yeah, I love starting it off. You know, me and Luke, we've been working together now for almost 5 years, so we definitely play off each other's stories pretty well. But, I am 23 years old, and I've been an entrepreneur now for going on 5 years, and it's definitely changed my entire life. You know, really before I decided to be an entrepreneur, I was going to school full-time at Michigan State University for business, not necessarily because that's what I wanted to do, but really because I didn't know what else to do. I think that business can sometimes become the new undecided. And if you have no clue what you want to do with your life, go to school for business. And that was me. And I was also working part-time at Taco Bell. And the one thing I learned from working at Taco Bell was that I never wanted to work there again. And I knew I wanted something different. And I was blessed to meet this guy, Luke Hessler, who changed my life forever. I met Luke when I was 18 and he was 19, and I walked into a dorm room, and believe it or not, this kid was standing on a table telling me, yo, we're going to change the world. We're going to make $1 million. And my first reaction was, this guy's obviously, completely crazy. My next reaction was, this guy's excited and passionate, two things that I wasn't excited about school, wasn't passionate about my job, so I was willing to listen and do something different. And he completely blew my mind because I didn't really know that it was possible to, make a full-time income with no college degree, because my parents always taught me you got to be smart to make money. So I did the right things. I went to school and I got good grades, and I played 3 sports, got into Michigan State, university of my dreams, got there, decided to major in drinking and partying and minor in business, and went on academic probation my first semester, had to figure it out, and that's when I met Luke. And Luke really saw more in me than I saw in myself. And we kind of decided to take the ball and run. And from a couple kids in a dorm room, we've been able to build professional organizations of, thousands and thousands of people all around the world, upwards of 30 different countries. So it's been a pretty incredible blessing. For me at a young age, at 20 years old, I found a lot of success. And by the time I was 21, I spent every single dollar that I ever made. And I had to really restart. I was the dude who made it to the top of the mountain, but also fell back down to the bottom of the mountain and had to climb back up to the top of the mountain. And it's just been an incredible journey, here as entrepreneurs. Worked with Luke for so long, and just most recently decided to partner up once again. And this time, instead of going out there and partnering up with different companies, we decided to launch a company of our own. And that's kind of where Wotabu's story begins. So that's a little bit about my background. I'll let Luke kind of fill in a couple of the holes in terms of kind of how this whole thing started and where he comes from.
I think when we're done the interview, we're going to ask you a little bit more about the professional drinking and partying and some of those experiences, but we'll save it.
I'm pretty tame nowadays, but it's all good.
Oh, that's awesome. We've all been there. It's so funny because when I was 19 is when my journey of an entrepreneur started. And I heard from a mentor, he put it so perfectly. He said, people usually start on their journey as an entrepreneur, either A, out of inspiration, or B, out of desperation, right? And I was as desperate as he gets, to be honest, dude. Like, I was in college. I did the same thing Jaime did. I was supposed to go actually play baseball at Purdue. I ended up hurting my shoulder, so I went to college at Michigan State. And I did well in school, but school never really was that hard to me. So I was kind of able to just kind of coast by and still get, a 3.5 and do good and do well, And so I joined a fraternity to fill in all the extra time. And I ended up actually getting in trouble for drinking underage, not once, not twice, but 3 times, all right, which is not a very good start to this game they call life. Most would tell you that. And it wasn't, but I tell you, it also helped me a lot simply because I got to the point where I looked in the mirror and I was just disappointed with who I was, because I always had huge expectations for myself. I knew I was going to become successful. I knew I wanted to make an impact in this world. I knew I wanted to just do something big, because someone needs to in this world that we're in. And I believed in myself that I could do it. I just didn't know what it was. And so this is the first time in my life where I actually took a step back and asked myself the serious question. It's like, why are you doing what you're doing, you know? And the answer was that it was because it was what I was told to do my whole life. And so I just did it. And so I got to the point where I owed some money to my parents because they paid for some lawyers for me to help me not get that on my record. Thank you, Mom and Dad. I owed some money to them. And I'm like, all right, how do I pay back like $3,000 to my parents? I can't get a job for $10 an hour. Like, that's not going to work. And then my buddy introduced me to a guy who was 25 years old, and he was making $40,000 a month as an entrepreneur. And he taught me the way. You know, he showed me the ropes. He showed me what was possible. And after a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of struggle, you know, eventually I ended up meeting this guy, Mr. Jaime Chirio, and he was the first person that believed in me because, I mean, it was a big vision that we were casting. You know, I believe that we could change the world. I believe that we can go out there and empower people. I believe, you know, that there is there's an issue going on in education where people are not actually being taught, you know, really how to make it in the world, in business, that is, you know, in business and other things, being a doctors and lawyers and engineers. Yeah, education system's great for that, but for making it in business, it's not there. And I felt like we were on a crusade to go up and wake people up and show them the truth. And Jaime was the first person that really, you know, joined me on that journey. And ever since then, for the last 5 years, it's been incredible. You know, we've owned and operated multiple businesses. I've had, you know, businesses within the network marketing space. I've opened now 2 of my own apps as well. I have a company called the Global Development Federation that deals with emerging technologies as well. And it's all just been incredible. And Wotabu is our passion project that we're running with right now that we could not be any more excited about. Honestly, it's incredible.
Man, I think the one thing I love most is that you both have been on this journey together and you're still at it and you're still working together. And this is like, it's like a brotherhood going on right here.
Yeah, I mean, in business and in life, you know, you got to find a partner that's down to ride with you, right? I mean, in life, you got to find the right girl. You know, in business, you got to find the right partners. It's like, I know what I'm good at, right? And Jaime knows what he's good at. And it works together, you know, extremely well. Neither of us are trying to outshine the other one or do anything. We're just here to work together. And our skill sets work so perfectly together. And it's been absolutely a blessing. Honestly.
I love how you both started businesses in college.
Yeah. Yep.
While you're going to school.
Yeah, definitely. And I wrote it out a little bit longer than Jaime did. You know, I ended up getting to the point where I was a junior, and then when I was making about what the average college graduate made a year in business, I decided to treat it like an internship, and I'm like, I'm gonna go all in with this, and if it booms, awesome. You know, I'm gonna go with it, and if it doesn't, I learned a lesson. I'm just gonna go back to school, and I'll be right to where I was in the beginning. And it ended up booming, you know, and that was amazing. Jaime, on the other hand, he just knew he was going to make it. He's like, I'm not doing this whole school thing. I'm going to make it in business. And so he just made the leap of faith a little bit earlier than I did. And it all worked out, thankfully.
Absolutely. I mean, I made it about a year and a half into school and absolutely love everything that it brought me. The connections, that was the number one thing. Made so many incredible relationships that, you know, helped us get to where we're at today. But it got to the point where, you know, I've learned more from one single book that I've picked up than I learned in my entire college career.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
What's that book?
That book is right here. That book is The Law of Success by Napoleon Hill. This was my college education.
Deadly.
What do you think you got most out of that book?
The one thing I'm personally getting most out of it right now is leadership and initiative. For me, you know, I'm always honest. It takes me a second to get the ball rolling, but once I get the ball rolling, it can't be stopped.
There we go. Momentum.
It's
Cool.
a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I agree with what I was saying before. I like that you guys both started out in college and you just built it from there. Did you find, like, what were some of the struggles that you guys faced while building it in college? Like, did a lot of people tell you guys that you couldn't do it?
Well, for me, you know, I definitely had, you know, I guess these quote haters when I first got started. I was the guy who definitely proclaimed to every single person that I grew up with that I was going to make it when I had absolutely no results. And I definitely had a lot of people who, you know, said I wasn't going to make it. I had people posting on my Facebook wall saying, I can't wait to see you at a college reunion or reunion when you fail. And that was my motivation. I remember in the beginning, my entire motivation, I remember going to Luke saying, I'm going to prove these kids wrong. And it was until Luke shifted my mindset. He's like, don't prove them wrong. Prove yourself right. That's when it really clicked. And I really stopped caring what the heck anybody else thought. And I knew that I was on my own journey. I needed to stay in my own lane.
Yeah, I've definitely experienced the same thing, but it was different for me because I didn't have necessarily like my friends that were all like posting on my wall or doing things like that. But I come from an incredible family. Honestly, I was very blessed to have that. My aunt is the director of the Peace Corps, so she runs that. My uncle was in gas and oil. You know, he made hundreds of millions of dollars. My mom and dad are in the medical field. And so I always had huge expectations in my life, and I had a plan really created for me, since I was young, and all I had to do was follow that plan, and I was going to be good. I had to get a 3.5 or higher, and I could go work for my uncle. I could go work my way up, and all of this different stuff in his company. And then when I decided to become an entrepreneur, it was just like, yeah, going this way. You know what I'm saying? It was just a complete change of direction to them. They're like, I'm going to throw away everything you've ever taught me, and I'm just going to follow my heart here. And so they thought I was insane just because it was like you were given everything, and now you're choosing to just leave that and go chase some dream that isn't even guaranteed when this is guaranteed, So I didn't get as much pressure from my friends. Obviously, there's always people talking behind your back. There's always people doing that. But the thing that had the most impact on me was the pressure coming from my family. They were always supportive. They loved me to death, and they gave me incredible character growing up. And I owe a lot of who I am today to them. But you just know, especially like me, I just want to make my parents proud. And, you had that like one sliver where they thought I was just insane going off my rocker. Like I remember we used to do Uvu calls before we did Zoom. I remember I told my mom, I'm like, Mom, I got Uvu calls tonight. I can't talk. And she thought that Uvus were a drug. So she thought I was pretty interesting. So that was an interesting transition, but now they're incredibly supportive. They're proud of me, and it's amazing.
How did both of you guys discover entrepreneurship was kind of a calling for you while you were in college?
Yeah, good question. I'll go first on that. For me, honestly, it was like I said in the beginning, it was desperation. I just needed something, I needed something, and I needed to make it. I needed a way to channel all my focus, all my energy into something. And I wanted to reinvent myself really, because again, when I looked in the mirror, I didn't like who I was. And I'm like, this is a way for me to hit the reset button on my life. I can rewrite my story. I can work on my own time. I can make an impact. And I didn't know it was possible. Honestly, I didn't know it was possible to do it at a young age without having, access to hundreds of thousands of dollars and this crazy risks and all these things. And when I saw it, it was just a way out, and it was one of those things where it was honestly love at first sight, as cliche as it sounds. Like when I saw it was possible, it just sank. It sat in with me, and I'm like, this is what I'm going to do my entire life. I remember actually having a legitimate epiphany. Like I was crying, talking to my friends. I was like, dude, we're going to be millionaires, dude. Like I swear I had a legitimate epiphany where I was just like, it was my calling. This is what I'm supposed to do. And it was there was no doubt in my mind.
Awesome. For sure.
Well
and
said,
for me, I was always interested in business. I took all the classes in high school for it, competed on all the different contests, pitching different, judges, so on and so forth, had all kinds of, accolades for that. And it was always something I was interested in, but more on the corporate side. I thought that's what I wanted to do. I thought I wanted to go be, a marketing director of some big company somewhere that didn't even know existed yet. And I came off to college, and it was until I met Luke that Luke just kind of showed me a different way. And I remember the first thing that I did was I left that meeting. I literally ran back to my dorm room, and I started talking at about 1,000,000 miles a minute to my roommate about this, whole idea of, being your own boss, working on your own time. And he thought I was absolutely crazy. He was studying for a test, kicked me out of the room, told me to go talk to someone else, sprinted down to the other end of the dorm, started telling my other friends. They thought I was absolutely crazy. And, it was really, I met Luke, and Luke just kind of was that first friend that kind of thought how I thought and dreamed, and saw the same things that I saw. Because for the longest time for me, it was always talking to friends. Everyone was talking about last weekend, talking about the party that just happened, talking about the past. And it was when I met Luke, it was like the first time that I had a friend that talked about the future. talked about where we were going, what we were doing, what we could create, ideas, things that could really propel and push us forward. So as soon as I saw the idea of being my own boss, I literally never looked back. The day that I met Luke, I literally went into Taco Bell, quit my job, and went all in.
Fantastic. So for both of you, I'm just going to make an assumption here. Your first jump into business was with network marketing, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Best decision of my life.
Okay. So I want to get your input on or your thoughts on network marketing for a student, like for a young person in college or just finishing up high school. What are your beliefs about the industry? What are your thoughts about what it can do for a person's future?
Yeah, let me take that first. First off, honestly, I think it is the single most, first and foremost, the single strongest education you will ever get in your entire life. Put away all the money you can make, put away the business side and profiting, anything like that. After being on both sides, in the sense that I was in the honors college at Michigan State, I was in the business school, I saw, traditional education in that way. And then also being involved in network marketing, you just start to learn that there are certain intangibles of success that can't be taught in a classroom. I look at it like riding a bike. It's like you can watch all the YouTube videos in the world. You can read all the books in the world about how to ride a bike, but none of them can teach you this weird thing called balance. The only way you can learn this thing called balance is by getting on that bike, falling down, getting back up, falling down, getting back up, falling down, and keep going again. And you got to learn that, and there's an intangible in business as well. And you can't articulate it. You can't teach it to someone. It's something that must be experienced. I'm a firm believer that there's a difference between knowledge and wisdom. I think knowledge comes from inserting information into your mind, reading books, doing things like that. I think wisdom comes from when you take knowledge and you apply it, and it's knowledge plus experience equals wisdom. And I think you need wisdom in order to make it in business in this world. And there's just, with network marketing, there's a low startup. You're looking at anywhere between $250 to $500 or something like that to start your own business with unlimited earnings potential. And as long as you believe in the product that you're promoting, you really can't lose anything. And you can start to learn those intangibles of success versus if, let's say, you were going to try and start a traditional business, you get, a loan to go get a McDonald's or a Subway or, something like that. You're talking $250,000, right? $1 million. Like, that's an expensive lesson, right? But in regards to someone that's young, the education that you can get for the cost that you get is absolutely unbelievable. Not to mention the second part of my favorite thing about network marketing is really the connections that you make as well. All my other businesses that I've ever created, and there's been about 7 of them now that have stemmed from it, have all come from the connections that I've made within network marketing. And so for me, the education and the connections are enough of a reason to go out there and put money into it. People pay $20,000 a year, or a semester to go to college. And it's like, that's expensive, and you can get that same type of education, to me, even more impactful, assuming your goal is business, via network marketing in that domain. So yeah, that's what I would say about that.
Yeah. And I'll keep my answer super short and sweet. I think that network marketing is a personal development program cleverly disguised as a business model. When people see it, for me, I am completely unrecognizable to who I used to be when I first got started in this business. It's crazy because I went from the kid who was terrified of public speaking when Luke threw me up in front of a room of 5 people for my first meeting. I was in a full-on suit. I was sweating. I had a whole script in front of me. I was terrified, but he really kind of kicked me into the water and said, sink or swim. And it got me to the point where now public speaking is one of my favorite things to do. And I've been blessed to speak on stage in front of, upwards of 10,000 people. I've flown over to Vienna, Austria, and spoke at, a professional business convention with 5,000 people where, 99% of the audience was wearing headphones and having, my speech translated from English into their, their home language. So it's just crazy because it went from being terrified of that to being one of my favorite things to do and one of my best skill sets. So, really network marketing, it brings out the best in people. It gets people out of their comfort zone and it makes them go out there and really develop those weaknesses into strengths. So that's really what it did for me.
Nice. And David, you also had some experience in that industry as well, right? What did it do for you?
Yeah, man. interestingly enough, network marketing was the one thing that brought me around a community that was like me. Before I joined a network marketing company, I was living in this place. I was living with a couple other guys, and all we would do is party on the weekends, and all they would talk about is the next drink they were going to have or the next girl they were going to sleep with. And these were just the conversations that were going to happen. I remember being in my room, and I had this quote by Steve Jobs on the wall that said, the ones who are crazy enough to think that they could change the world are the ones that would actually do it. But none of my friends thought like that. Like, I was this one guy in my room, and I had this quote, and I was like, Steve Jobs, I feel you. But none of my friends were like, David, I feel you. So I ended up moving into Ottawa. It's funny, actually. I ended up moving into Ottawa on this guy's floor. And in the network marketing business, I was introduced to a whole community of people. I was actually introduced to Jaime and Luke. When that happened, I met a bunch of people that actually wanted to succeed and be different. And it was like I was noticing there was this like one bubble that I was in where everyone was kind of doing the same things and going to the same place, and they were all like talking about the same stuff. And then I was like in this other bubble, and I was like, is there like something else? Am I like the only person that's like stepping out of this bubble? Like, is there another bubble? And then I was introduced to another bubble of people that actually wanted to step into their own life and their own dreams. So network marketing had a profound impact in my life. I absolutely loved my journey. It introduced me to books, introduced me to people, introduced me to mentors. It's got me to step out of my comfort zone, just like Jaime and Luke were saying. It was a profound experience for me, and it's really one of the main reasons why I'm here and where I am today.
Oh, and just like you guys, I started network marketing young as well. I wasn't in college when I started. I was 24. But I wish, in hindsight, that I would have gone and answered those fucking newspaper ads my mom told me to stay away from when I was 18, because that I know now it was definitely network marketing, and life would be probably in a whole different spot. But I'm thankful that I found it at 24. And like Jaime said, it is absolutely the best real world personal development course disguised as a business that you could possibly get. And that little investment, whether you have to borrow it from a friend, borrow it from your parents, rip it off from a credit card, find a way to get yourself into that, and your paradigms will be totally shattered. But here's the asterisk: if you are open to it and if you are willing to do those things. So for all the people that are watching today, this is one of those things that network marketing can totally change your life. And I would say the best thing you can do is be open-minded to it, but then do your own due diligence. Get your own education. So when Timmy, your fucking college roommate, says to you, don't do that, you can say, fuck you, Timmy. I researched it for a week, and I know people that make tons of money. I know people that lose money in the industry, and I know the most important thing is, what kind of person am I going to decide to be? And that's the important thing. If you can make that own educated decision and understand that people lose money in everything, people can make money in everything, and you just need to figure out what kind of person are you going to be, and are you going to do the work necessary to be that person? That's my rant.
Oh. Drop the mic.
Cool. So another question for you guys. What do you think is, so one of them, I want to talk about fear a little bit, because you guys talk about jumping into your fear and stepping into your comfort zone. And I was making this script for one of the Young Pros videos, and one of the things that we're going to be talking about is the idea that, we're put into this world where we're told to do we're told to do this, we're told to go to school, we're told to get a job, we're told to follow these rules, and we don't really question ourselves. And I think personally, the reason a lot of us are doing it is because of fear. So was there a lot of fear that you guys had to pass through in order to get to where you are right now? And how big of a role do you think fear plays in your journey into really realizing who you are?
Dude, the one thing that I'll say is that there have been so many times along this journey that, I've doubted myself, that I doubted if I could make it or not. Never doubted that this was the right vehicle. I always knew it was a great vehicle that anybody can make it in. But, really, I guess, got anxious in terms of, the timing, impatient, all of those things. And there's multiple times where I wanted to quit. I remember actually calling Luke 6 months into, my journey as an entrepreneur and saying, hey, man, I think I'm going to turn back. I think I'm going to go back to, getting a job, back to doing what we were doing before. And I remember Luke looking at me and saying, dude, don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. he's like, what's different between you right now when you first got started? He's like, do you have any less resources? No, I've got more resources. Do you have any less tools? I got more tools. Do you have any less skills? No. He's like, all it is it's your belief level. He says your belief level right now is different than it was in the beginning. And he said, if you raise your belief, you'll go out there and you'll raise your results. And that changed everything for me. That was really that boost of self-confidence that I needed. And I know so many other people, as they go through this entrepreneurship journey, fear of failure, that's just a huge thing. And you just can't be impatient. You have to know that it's coming. You have to know that as long as you don't quit, you're going to get there, no matter what. The one thing that I've learned is that, the biggest reward is on the other end of the highest hill. And we've went up some pretty high hills. And we've got some higher hills to go, but the reward has definitely been worth it through all the struggle.
I bet you've also come down those hills too, haven't you?
I have tumbled down those hills, man.
Yeah, that's another thing that people often think of is that success is just a straight line.
Yeah,
absolutely not. It is
not even close.
Such a roller coaster. I've been on top. I've been on bottom. I've been the dude who sat in the front of the plane, forced to go back to the back of the plane. And then the dude who was also driving across the country eating peanut butter and jelly because I couldn't afford a plane ticket. So I've been that guy on top, and I've also been the guy on bottom. But every single day, work our way right back to where the end destination.
Yeah, that's it. And I think a big misunderstanding that the general public has about fear and about people who are successful in their relationship to fear is that they think that they are fearless. And I think that's just not true. At least it hasn't been to me or any of the massively successful people that I've ever met. It's human nature to be fearful, like fear is actually something that's wired into our brain, to be there. It's supposed to keep us alive. It goes back to when we were freaking cavemen, that we needed to be fearful when there was a lion that came and put us in fight or flight and helped us actually perform stronger and better to actually keep us alive. Now today, we still have that fear, but now we're not scared for our lives. We're scared of what other people are going to think of us. We're scared of failing at this. We're scared of all of these things. And I think that you don't have to be absent of fear. You never will be. At least I've never met anyone who is, and I would love to meet that person and need him to teach me, because I'm definitely not absent of fear. But I will tell you that whenever I see fear, I don't let it stop me now. Now I've kind of changed my mindset of it, where when I see fear, I see it as an opportunity to grow, because I've kind of just came to my own personal philosophy that I feel like fear is the devil's way of holding you back from your potential, and if you can just learn to chase that and go after your fears, oftentimes you'll find your greatest strengths are on the other side of the fears. I think I went to a seminar. I'm good friends with Bob Proctor, and he told me, he's like, Luke, you got to remember that the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure that you seek. And I've lived my life by that, and so now when I see fear, yeah, I still feel the fear, but now I immediately attack it with action, which kind of can help you propel through that. And just knowing that, you're going to be scared, you're going to be worried, you're going to have anxiety that's going to be there, but as long as that doesn't hold you back, you persevere through it, nothing can stop you,
You said some wise words there about how, you feel those fears and you feel the adrenaline starting to pump through your body, and it makes your senses heightened. It puts you in a state of absolute readiness unless you do jack shit with it. Right?
Amen.
If you let that fear stop you and you don't amplify the readiness, well, nothing good is going to come out of it. But if you'll instead take that fear and understand that all of those things that are happening, those feelings, the additional energy you feel, those hormones that are pumping through your body, giving you that drive to go make something happen or stop you, if you'll drive through that, you'll perform better.
No doubt.
Yeah, that's so interesting, because back in like the primal age, before all this stuff happened, the fear would click in when the tiger was running after you, or the fear would click in when you were about to get killed. So naturally, all this energy is pumping through our veins so we can get the energy to get the hell out of where we are right now.
Or to kill the tiger.
Or kill the tiger. Yeah, or to kill the tiger. So Matt, really good point, because we can actually use that energy and propel us forward with it rather than stepping back and just, settling with it. Let's leverage the energy and let's move forward.
I always told people when I was coaching them in network marketing and helping them get on the stage was, you feel the same fear, whether it's you're nervous or afraid or you're excited and full of energy. They're the exact same things. So change the label, right? Use the label to be an advantage for you as opposed to a stopper, right? If you just decide that I'm going to be labeled excited to go on stage and still feel those exact same feelings, you're going to get different results as opposed to I'm nervous and I'm not going to do it.
It's so funny that you said that, man, because the first time that I spoke on my first big stage, I had 10,000 people looking right at me. And I remember backstage almost having an anxiety attack. And I'm sitting back there. That's the exact thing he told me. He's like, dude, you are literally, confusing your anxiety for excitement. He's like, you were just excited. It was so funny because as soon as I stepped out on the stage, every single nerve disappeared.
How it works.
And you may have even fumbled on some words.
100%.
Right? But guess what? No one out there even knows what you're supposed to be saying, so who cares?
That's it.
Yeah, which is so funny. It's like we feel this fear as though the whole world knows that we're scared right now, or the whole world knows what we're supposed to do. But only we know what we're supposed to do.
And if we talk about that in public speaking terms, everyone else is not on the stage. They're too fucking scared to be up there, right? They'd rather die than speak.
Right.
Cool, guys. So changing the frame of the conversation a little bit, I want to talk about this new company that you guys have just launched, Wotabu. It sounds we're worth talking about, right?
Yes.
So why don't you guys just kind of tell me the story about how that started, what it is, and yeah, just go from there.
Tell me the name again.
It's Wotabu. So it's WOTABU. So worth talking about.
Okay.
Our mission is to inspire people to live a life worth talking about in their own eyes. And, we had about 4.5 years experience in the network marketing realm. We had a lot of fun. For those of the people tuning in who aren't, super familiar with network marketing, we just partnered up with different companies with great products and services, promoted those products and services, and, built big teams of people doing the same thing. And one day, about 5 or 6 months ago, we woke up and we weren't passionate about what we were promoting. And that's a tough time because we really had to sacrifice our pride because we had thousands of people following us. And when the leaders lose their passion, that's the worst. It seeps into every single area of your life. It seeps into your goals, your relationships. It seeps into your productivity. When you're waking up in the morning, everything. We started to lose our culture. Our people weren't hanging out as much. And, I remember Luke came to me and he's like, dude, we got to do something different. So we hopped on a plane. We went to Salt Lake City, Utah, where there are 283 network marketing companies in one city. And we went from company to company. And we thought maybe it was the product. Maybe it was a service we weren't passionate about. And the one thing we learned is that in this industry, there's the good, the bad, and the ugly. And you have to do your best to make sure the good outweighs the bad and the ugly when you're looking for a home. And we went from company to company. It was like, being a free agent in the NFL, people whining and dining you, taking you around, wanting you to bring your team over. And we came out of it after, a couple-week journey, and we kind of realized what we were looking for didn't exist. And that was kind of like a sobering feeling. Like, okay, what we're looking for doesn't exist. What do we do? And then the light bulb went off and Luke's like, well, if it doesn't exist, that means we get to create it ourselves. And that's when we decided we're going to go out there and we're going to start our own company. And a lot of people, when they hear, 23 and 24-year-old kids starting their own company, what do they assume? They assume a laptop and an apartment and a couple of kids. But what we did, we decided to do something different. We realized we didn't have the startup capital. We didn't have the experience to go out and do so. So we partnered up with some strategic mentors, some people we worked with in the past who had some experience doing this type of thing. And I'll let Luke expand upon that. But we ended up finding a 10-year-old company that was willing to let myself and Luke and a couple mentors come in and basically consult for them, create a brand new spin-off company underneath their umbrella. So just like Facebook owns Instagram, we were able to acquire a parent company that was going to provide the entire corporate side of everything, and we were able to focus on what we were good at, which is the field. We were able to create the marketing, to choose the product, the service, to write the entire compensation plan, to really just create a company completely from scratch And then we're blessed enough to partner up with a company that was willing to do the entire corporate side for us. So, people think, startup company, 99% of startup companies fail in their first 10 years. We were blessed to work with a company that's been around for 10 years, debt-free, that has a CEO, a CFO, a CMO, a corporate team, a bunch of employees, a home office. So it's like we've got that excitement of a startup with the foundation of a 10-year-old company. So that's kind of a little bit of the journey. I'll let Luke kind of take over from here.
Yeah, for sure. It was a cool move that we were able to create because a lot of people, again, they think in order to start your own company you got to do all this stuff on your own, but you don't. It's partners, man. It's so important who you go out there and work with, and by being able to leverage the existing infrastructure of a company that had been around for 10 years, that had money in the bank, that was profitable, that had access to lines of credit, all of those different things, we were able to take our learning curve, and instead of making it be like that, we were able to rock it like that, which was a true blessing, honestly. And so the cool thing, the reason we really started this is that when we were flying around everywhere, what I'm passionate about and what Jaime is passionate about is really teaching young people entrepreneurship. And when I say young, I mean like 18 to 30, our generation, entrepreneurship and really what it takes and how really anybody can go out there and make it. If you have that desire, you have that work ethic, you have that coachability, you can do it. And the issue is that all the companies in this network marketing space, in this industry, I was just listening to Eric Worre, who's kind of like the spokesman, I guess, right now for network marketing as a whole. And he said it just hit $200 billion this year in sales as an industry. And when you think of that, you have a $200 billion industry, and no one has market share on the young generation right now. Like no one is betting on our generation. Everyone's going after the baby boomers. Everyone's going out there and doing that. And no one is betting on the young generation, which blows my mind because if you look at statistics, by 2025, 75% of the workforce is going to be us. 75% of it, and we grew up our whole life seeing our parents go to work and work their whole life for a job, and they still haven't made it. They're still working today. They're still behind. They're still the biggest, arguments in families today are because of finances. And so right now we just saw a giant niche in a absolutely huge market. And we're like, no one else is going to capitalize on this niche than we are. And that's when we decided to go out there and launch Wotabu. And what was really cool about it is that we wanted to figure out, because after you all right, we got our market, we need to figure out a product to go out there and market to the market, right? When we did that, me and Jaime always traveled in the industry. And one of the big things you ask people when you meet them, when they get started is like, what would you do if time and money were no issue, right? And you knew you couldn't fail. Like you hit the lottery tomorrow, $1 billion, boom, in your bank account. What would you do? Where would you go? And I would say probably 85% of the people that we talked to, they said they wanted to go travel, and that was the thing. And we're like, okay, well, what if we can create a company where instead of being like, all right, you want to go travel? Well, go sell these wellness products, go sell this skincare. And then if you sell enough of these, eventually you can go out there and travel. And we're like, what if we could give people a way where it's like, cut that, cut the middleman where you got to sell this, and instead just go straight to the travel. And that's what we did. We were able to create a travel company where, again, another partnership, we met a guy who was in the industry for 40 plus years of travel. He sold this entire portal that we're working with right now in timeshares presentations. He sold it for $5 to $10 grand, all right, in order to get access to this thing, and $100 a month. And we negotiated with him to where he's actually now giving members of Wotabu access to that exact same portal for a $50 one-time fee and $29 a month. And so basically what it is it's like wholesale travel. So think of like what Costco or Sam's Club do, with their groceries and things like that. That's the same thing that we do with travel. So people pay, $29 a month membership, and you get access to all of this wholesale inventory. Over 15,000 different, you can do resorts, you can do cruises, you can do food, you can do hotels, you can do really, really anything. And so we added that in there. But the other thing that we did, which I think is extremely unique, is that we wanted to go out there and again, we wanted it to be different, right? Like travel travel, there's a been there. There've been travel companies, but how can we make it unique and how can we cater it specifically to the young demographic? And what we ended up doing is not only having a travel club as a portion of what we do as the Wotabu membership, but you also get access to an adventure club. And it's actually a gamified adventure club, which is super cool. And so what we do is we have online and offline competitions. Online competition is pretty simple. Every month we have a theme of the month. Like last month it was trick shots. People get in teams of 4 to 8 people. They film themselves doing things that fall underneath that theme of the month. They take the video, they upload it online at wotabu.com. And then based on the amount of votes that they get, the video and the team that gets the most votes, that entire group and that team gets to go on a 5-night, 6-day vacation to an all-inclusive resort, down in I think it was the Bahamas this last month. And so that's what we have. Every single month we have these different online competitions. And then, we also have offline competitions where in markets of more than 25 people that are a part of Wotabu, we have got competitions where everyone gets together and we'll have tournaments and, the winners will always win a prize. So the first month we did it, it was, we did road rallies. The second month it was a dodgeball tournament. This month it was Zorb soccer, like those, those big old balls, of bubble balls that you run into and you just drill people. It's awesome. And so we had like 200 people come out to our last tournament, and the winners, again, they always get trips. And the whole point of it is to bring together like-minded individuals, and get people uncomfortable, because I believe that growth stems from, becoming uncomfortable. It's like working out. You can't build muscles until you break the muscles down. And I think that's how we work the same way. And so when we can create these communities, get people doing things that they've never done before, having firsts, right? When was the last time you did something for the first time? Is one of the questions we ask people oftentimes. And making these memories, it's been an awesome culture that we've been able to create, and it's been extremely receptive to a lot of people. I mean, the Huffington Post recently did a study where they said 72% of millennials would rather spend money on experiences versus material items, and we're allowing people to go and do that without breaking the bank and at a discount, which has been phenomenal.
That's awesome, man. That's so exciting for you guys. I'm really happy to see that, and I'm looking forward to hearing all the millennial stories about everybody changing their life and going on these world experiences and adventures and just becoming better people and better humans for it.
That's it.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's so cool, man. Just to see both of you talking about this whole new company that you've launched. For the guys who are watching this right now, I've known Jaime and Luke for like over 3 years now. So it's been a while since we've known each other, and just to see you guys have always been killing the game since I've known you. But now to see you guys coming here and creating this whole new company around creating experiences for young people and bringing that culture, which I love so much when I was out in Michigan, together where people are going to get to experience first, like that's just incredible. Like that's awesome.
Absolutely, man. And really where a lot of the inspiration came from, ironically, it came from a pretty unique book. Okay, a book called Purple Cow. I don't know if you guys have heard of that. Seth Godin, exactly. Yeah. And he owns an ice cream company called Purple Cow Ice Cream. And in the book, he talks about how right now everybody in the world, they're selling vanilla ice cream. And he said, you got to sell something different, especially in network marketing. It's like, check out my juice, check out my protein, check out my skincare, my energy drink. It's like trying to pick between 10 different brands of vanilla.
And they're all the best.
They're all the best. And if you want to do something different, he says, you can't keep selling vanilla. You got to get creative. You got to sell something that's, like bacon, chocolate, jalapeno, something that's wild and outside of the box, and something that's worth talking about. And we just fell in love with that idea and decided we wanted to build a movement and a concept, all around this idea of, worth talking about, something that people, are willing to talk about. Because right now, you go through Facebook, you go through the news, what do you see? Just negativity, and none of it's worth talking about. So we just want to
get it is.
Yeah, right.
For them, it's worth talking about, but for us, we want to interrupt that noise and we want to get people talking about something that is worth talking about. So it's so cool because, our premise behind the competition is just get together, get some friends, grab a camera, have an experience, film yourself doing something that's worth talking about, post it on your social media, create pull marketing, curiosity. People want to know what the heck you're doing, what you're a part of. And you can say, I'm a part of an epic travel and adventure club and I'm having the time of my life.
Nice.
That's so sweet, man.
Are you guys doing you're doing something with an existing network marketing company, correct? In the travel space or no?
Yeah, so basically what we did is there's a company that they sold a fuel additive. And so back in 2008, 9, 10, when fuel prices were, up at like $4 or $5 a gallon, this thing was crushing it because it helped the MTGs and all this different stuff. But now that fuel prices have gone down a lot, the company went, from crushing it and growing to where they started going like this. And so basically when we came in there, we're like, listen, you guys need a new product. All right. And you guys need new leaders that are going to start something big. We're like, we'll provide that if you guys can provide the infrastructure. And that's kind of how the partnership was created.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
That's a way to get creative and be a problem solver as opposed to seeing the problems and not knowing what to do.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah, and you guys really did do that. Like most of us think if we're going to start a business that we have to do every little thing to do it. But you guys just partner yourselves up with people that had what you guys didn't have, and you guys brought what they didn't have, which I think is so important. And so for everyone watching, like that's super important, is to know your strengths and to recognize what you're good at and to recognize what those around you are good at so you can play off each other. Like just you guys were saying earlier that you both play off each other. Well, you guys took your strengths as an organization and played that with the strengths of an existing company and then partner up, and now you have this incredible company. So kudos. Sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. And another thing to add on top of that, just on the premise while we're there, is my uncle, who is in the gas and oil industry. He always told me that, money equals freedom in this world. So you need to get it. You got to do it if you want to be free. He said, however, there's two types of people in the world. People that use people and love money, and then there's people that love people and use money. And he said, as long as you're the second type where you love people and use money, like just go out there and make as much as you can, because it's going to be your ability to go out there and spread it and your, present positivity and your influence outside of just your physical circumstances of where you're at. And so when we did this, I think that's a really big thing when it comes to creating partnerships, is making sure it's going to be mutually beneficial for both parties. And when it is, it's like the easiest thing in the world to go out there and create, because it doesn't take some insane communication skills, sales tactics, whatever. It's just being real. It's being genuine and kind of piecing the puzzle together.
Right on. Where do you guys see this going for you? I'm sure I can already answer that question, but I'd like to hear it from your mouths.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, the goal obviously is we want to start a movement. We were part of a company before that quite literally started a movement within the young market, and Pare can be a testament of that. It was just phenomenal. It was phenomenal, and we want to go and do the exact same thing. We want this to be more than a business. We want to be this more just a way to make money. We want to quite literally create a movement of people waking up, being like, you know what, there is this plan over here where you can go to work for 40 hours a week for 40 years of your life and retire on 40% of your income, and you can focus on getting good grades and doing all of that. And that's a plan, but there's also this plan over here. And even if this isn't your full-time plan, you still like this plan is still advantageous and can help benefit you in your life, not to mention the community, the education, things we already talked about. We just want to wake people up to what's possible, and so if you want to go over numbers, our goal for the next 3 years is in our first year in sales, our goal is to do 30 million. Our second year, we want to do 60, and our third year, we want to do 100 million. And so at launch, we did about $250,000 in sales day one. We've been growing every day since then, and it's really starting to get exciting because we're seeing new leaders pop up. We're seeing people, and we're seeing the passion in their hearts. It's just fantastic to see people on fire, for their freedom, and it's amazing, honestly.
This is my roommate Oliver, by the way. Before we get going, this guy's a boss.
Hey guys.
And hey Oliver.
What's up, Oliver?
The vice president of this franchise that he's running out right now, and he's killing the game. He's about to run $1 million business over the next year, so fucking A to him. Anyway,
awesome.
Sorry to interrupt. He was just there. I figured I'd bring him in.
I saw him come in the mirror.
Right?
I think Luke, we should take a little bit of your profits and get you a little faster internet. Keep freezing on us.
Am I breaking up?
Yeah, your audio is working fine. It's your video keeps freezing every now and again.
I apologize about that. I'm gonna have to take some of the profits to do that.
But at least you freeze when you look good. Like every time it's captured you at your prime.
Hey, that's what matters, man. That's what matters.
And now we can't
talking, but you're muted.
Wait, did you hear when I introduced Oliver?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, good. I was like, was I talking that whole time and you didn't hear anything? I just wanted to touch on what you said, Luke, that you guys wanted to create a movement out here. I just wanted to see what your guys' opinion on is. How important is it to create community, and how important is it to create movement? I mean, there's a lot of shit going on right now, and if we do look at the media and the news and all that crap, like there's this community of negativity and shit happening out there. So how important do you guys think it is to create a community and create a movement in the time we're living in right now?
It's the
Yeah.
most important thing.
Go ahead, Jaime. Take it.
I mean, honestly, it is the most important thing. I can tell you that right now with all the negativity that's going on. People want to feel like they're a part of something, especially something that's bigger than themselves. I know for a fact, for me, I looked at all my friends in college joining fraternities and sororities. Luke was in a fraternity. He understands that network, that community, that brotherhood. I never really experienced that. I experienced it in sports growing up, but never, in my adult life. And when I met this group and I was, I guess captivated by this movement, it changed my life forever. I knew I was a part of something that was more important than myself. One of the principles that we founded, our whole organization on is, purpose over self. Okay, purpose over self. And that really just means we have that overall purpose that as a group, we're all fighting towards every single day. And the purpose is more important than one's individual, selfish desires. And every single one of us, as long as we're striving towards that whole idea of connecting and developing the next generation of leaders who share the common desire of leaving the world a better place, as long as we do that every single day, we're one step closer to that ultimate goal.
Yeah. And I think, just to elaborate on what he was saying, is I think people know there are issues in the world. For the first time in history, I mean, I can ask Siri information that wasn't available in the Library of Alexandria. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are aware of what's going on. The issue is that because oftentimes these problems are so big, people are scared and they get frozen, and they don't know. They want to be a part of a solution, but they don't even know where to start, And when they see people, multiple people, groups of people that are going out there and standing for something and, know where they're going, are confident, have a plan, when they see faith, hope, and a plan, they're naturally attracted to it. And I think right now it's needed more than it's ever been in history. And not to mention, we can do it more effectively than ever in history because, with technology, it's phenomenal what we can go out there and do. The social connectivity we have is unprecedented. And for us to not take advantage of that, I think would just be pure laziness, at least for me. I feel obligated to go out there and do something about it. And I know Jaime does as well, and I know you guys do as well. And that's why you guys are doing what you're doing. And I think it's phenomenal.
Thanks, sir. Back at you.
Appreciate it, bro. You hit spot on, man. Especially with the social connectivity that we have right now and our ability to communicate with people across the world. Like, we can do anything. And there were movements that happened before the internet. And there were big global organizations before the internet who came together for a common purpose. So it blows my mind, and like, it's unfathomable to me right now what the hell can happen if we all really do come together for a common moment and create our own bubble that is, not in the current bubble that is going on, and we create our own thing with a common movement, and we spread it across the world with the connectivity that we have right now with the internet, social media, and all that stuff. So I'm 100% with you, brother. And I cannot wait to see what unfolds for you guys. And I did want to ask you: is Wotabu currently only?
So we are open in the United States. We are open in a couple countries in Africa. We are launching in Europe here on November 14th, and very, very soon, hopefully the beginning of 2017, launching in the great country of Canada. So always looking for brand ambassadors, looking for really those couple of, just key leaders who are going to help us launch the market. That's the number one thing that's holding us back. In terms of the corporate side, if we wanted to, we could press a button right now, Canada open tonight, but we're looking for, really that developed leadership first.
Great stuff, man. Great stuff. Canadian you're watching right now who says who thinks that's him, how does he get in contact with, or she, how do they get in contact with you two?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. You can add either of us on Facebook, shoot us a private message. You can go directly to our company website, www.wotabu.com. You can check us out on Facebook, on Instagram, as well as on YouTube. I would say that if you're that person, definitely shoot us a private message. It'll find its way to us, and we'll make sure that we have a powerful conversation with you as well.
Spreading powerful conversations all around the globe.
That's it.
I love it, brother. I love it. All right, well, boys, we're coming out to the hour mark right here. Is there any closing?
Yeah, I want to travel.
There we go. The whole.
Nice with the pins. Yes.
The pins.
Major key.
How many places have you guys traveled to now? Yeah, you guys have you guys counting?
I started counting when I was in business, and I've traveled to, now I think I've gone to 30 states, and I think 15 different countries is where I'm at. But that's not counting when I was a family. I went over to when I was a little kid, my family took me everywhere. So I've been more than that, but just in business, been about 30 states and 15 countries.
Yeah, I'm about the same. I've seen most of the United States, probably, 10 or so states off from seeing them all. But, I've been over to Europe quite a few times. That's definitely my favorite place. Been over there about 5 times in the last 2 to 3 years. Been to probably, 15, 16 different countries as well. Me and Luke, we've traveled all across Europe. We've done Luxembourg, Austria, Switzerland, Germany, France, Netherlands, Belgium, that whole area. We've seen most of it, building businesses, speaking, professional development, all of that stuff, building teams. So it's been a lot of fun. And, actually this December, myself and Luke are headed out to Mexico for our first, it's called Executive Adventure for Wotabu, where we're taking our top leaders to Mexico, where what we're going to do, it's not going to be the normal just, drinking margaritas on the beach. We're going to be doing something that's worth talking about. We're going to be doing a live adventure race where we're actually going to be teaming up. It's like, if you guys have ever seen The Amazing Race where they search for treasure, we're actually going to be getting into teams, filming the whole thing, and searching for buried treasure, climbing up waterfalls, getting clues, solving puzzles, racing to the finish. Winning team's going to win an epic prize. So we're really excited for December going to Mexico.
Are you guys limiting your age category for are you guys specifically targeting millennials? Is that your mentality from the business standpoint?
We have a movement for adults called the Wotabu Prime movement. It's a little bit more focused on the travel aspect of things. And of course, you're going to find that adult that wants to go out there and, live a life worth talking about. But living a life worth talking about, it's so subjective. That's why our mission statement is to live a life worth talking about in your own eyes. So to the mom with a family, quality time is living a life worth talking about. To someone like Luke, he wants to go travel somewhere different. That's living a life worth talking about. To him, the adrenaline junkie who needs to go skydiving or do something crazy. So we've got different facets for different age groups, but I would say that the main focus, the main target market is definitely the millennials.
Yes.
But we don't include anybody.
Cool.
Luke, you look like the light is shining upon you.
I know.
The heavens have broken.
The heavens have broken and shining to Luke's house.
That's it.
Awesome. So you guys are saying you don't have to wait till you retire to travel the world?
It's crazy, isn't it?
Wow. That's
And
magic.
that never made any sense to me. Who wants to travel with their fucking walker?
Right?
Do it now.
Do it now.
Can you even get on a plane with a wheelchair?
Yes.
Definitely. I'm sorry. I'm
David clearly needs to travel
certain
somewhere.
fields and uneducated in others. That's one of the ones I'm uneducated in.
Yeah, so you can definitely travel with a wheelchair. There'd be a massive stink about it if people with disabilities or needed a wheelchair were not able to travel.
You're right. Hey, Luke, you're back.
Oh, I'm back. I was like, how do I adjust this? Now we got it.
Cool. All right. Well, as I was saying before I got into that question, we're coming close to the hour. I mean, we could really talk all day, honestly. I'm sure we could find a bunch of other topics and subjects to talk about. But for our own sake of time, we'll end this off. Is there any other closing remarks and statements, comments that you want to leave with the viewers that are watching this right now that are inspired from you guys?
I'll leave it to Luke.
Yeah. I'll just tell you, if you're watching this, you're someone who obviously you have a dream, you have a goal, you have a desire to go out there and make it. I would just say, just believe in yourself, dare to try. You know, you can do it. You know, the success, the freedom, the money, the traveling, everything is not just reserved for these super educated, extremely well put together suit and tie type people. I'm sitting here in a Mickey Mouse sweatshirt talking to you guys. Like, you can do it. You know what I'm saying? You just got to make a decision. You got to have a good heart, and just go out there and focus and just believe in yourself. And I'm just telling you guys the truth is that at the end of the day, you know, 5 years from now, you'll be looking back at this moment right now, and you'll either be thanking yourself for the decisions you're making right now, or you'll be slapping yourself on the face being like, why was I doing that? And just decide to do things that you're going to thank yourself for in the future. And if you do that and you stay consistent and you believe in yourself and you have the vision, it's impossible to fail. You know, the only way you fail really is if you quit, you know, because every time you technically fail, it's not failure at all. It's learning what doesn't work. And by successfully figuring out what doesn't work, eventually you figure out what works. That's how I made it. That's how Jaime did. And I know you all can do the exact same thing. So, and I also want to thank you guys so much for having me on your show. It's been an honor and a privilege, and I love what you guys are doing. Keep it up. If there's anything that we can ever do to help you guys, please let us know, because Lord knows the world needs more positivity, and you guys are lights, and I absolutely love it.
Yes, thank you guys.
Thank you guys so much too for your words of wisdom and inspiration, and giving us a glimpse into your lives.
Absolutely. Anytime.
It's always a pleasure talking to you guys, and I have no doubt that we're gonna continue to be on this journey of life together, and I cannot wait to see where your guys' lives unfold and where this whole process comes together, man. So thank you guys for coming on the show today.
Our pleasure. Thanks for having us.
Take care. Guys, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Young Pros Show. Remember to subscribe to us on YouTube, like us on Facebook, visit youngproshub.com, and join our community to be a part of powerful conversations that are happening with incredible human beings all around the world. I look forward to seeing you guys on the next show. Thank you.